Grading Pokemon TCG cards has been one of the most popular activities in the last couple of years. Today we're going to review why maybe it's all a scam. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gym Leaders Podcast, where we talk all things Pokemon TCG. I'm Travis with TCG Funhouse.
And I'm ASX with ASX TCG, and we are getting back into the card grading today. I'm digging it. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, and it's one of those subjects that I feel like we have to revisit from time to time because it is such a hot topic, and it is so popular amongst all trading cards, really, from sports cards to Yu-Gi-Oh! To Magic to Pokemon. Pretty much everything that's a collectible card of some kind. Grading is a thing and one of the most popular things that goes on. And then on top of that, it's where like all the big money is. It's the top tier for flippers, sellers, whatever, business people in the community. And I think a lot of times there can be some false narratives, some bad intentions, not only from people buying and selling these cards, but from the grading companies themselves. So ASX, I know you don't have a lot of graded cards, but like, what's your just broad view of grading Pokemon TCG cards?
Yeah, so I guess I kind of have an interesting view of it a little bit because of when I came back into everything here, back into the Pokemon TCG and everything like that. It was right before prices started to skyrocket. So once I really understood everything about grading and, that it was, or that it could, potentially make your cards much more valuable, it became too much money for me. So I feel like I've had more of a negative experience, honestly, because I really haven't been able to grade any cards with PSA, BGS, CGC, just because of the way that the prices are right now. I would love to be able to grade some of my cards. I'm not going to go crazy, grading my, orbital Vs or, my Snoms or anything like that. But, I got some cards.
Bro? Why are you hating on Snom like that?
I mean,
where did that come from? How did we go from an episode where we're talking about grading cards to you just shitting all over Snom? What the hell?
All right. He is essential. He's essential in water decks. He helps get that Frostmoth out there. So, I shouldn't have used I shouldn't have used Snom. Should use the I don't even know.
Orbital's fine. Orbital's trash. You can
I should have stopped at Orbital. But yeah. Anyways, biggest thing for me is that it's kind of been more of a negative experience so far. But I think there are some things that are coming into fruition here with some of the grading companies that I am starting to see and really like and excited for as well.
Yeah, I definitely think the casual collector has been pushed out of the grading scene for sure with these inflated prices. Yes, there's tons and tons of these other smaller grading companies, which I that's a whole nother conversation, and I mean we might touch on a little bit here. But it's really about using the big three, really. It's about PSA, BGS, and CGC. And in my opinion, CGC is not even on the same plane as a PSA or a BGS. They're a, second place, but they're a distant second place to 1A PSA and 1B BGS. And depending on what you're putting into sports cards, I would almost say BGS is the way to go for sports cards. PSA just seems to be the gold standard for Pokemon. And these other companies are just they're trying to attach themselves to a niche that I don't know if it's going to be worth it for them in the long run. But I'm going to tell you guys my biggest problem with PSA grading, not PSA, just grading in general. Other than the cost, right? Because obviously getting a card graded for $100 is absolutely insane, and just that price tag of grading a card for that much money is purely a seller standpoint, right? If you're just a pure collector, which it's okay to be a seller, don't get me wrong. But I mean, the only reason why anybody would ever send cards to get graded right now would be to sell them and flip them for a profit. I don't understand why a collector would send in their cards to get graded for them to keep at these price points. I do know that they've opened up some of their standard gradings and stuff like that, to where you got to like get in a queue, and then they give you a certain number of positions that you can fill and all that, and it's more affordable. But then again, you're jumping through all these hoops. But I digress. The biggest problem that I have with grading is the subjectivity, right? And I think you were hinting at something when you said you see some stuff coming down the pipeline. And I'm assuming that you were looking at even not necessarily the AI grading, but just the consistency, right?
Yeah.
To where you plug in an algorithm and it's going to spit out a card. And it's not really subjective. Right now, when you send your card into Beckett, CGC, or PSA, all three of them have an individual that personally grades your card. And that is just not okay in my book.
Yeah, because I'm right there with you.
It's too much, right? And I'm gonna throw out an example out there, and that is if you everybody's favorite PokeTuber Leonhart just posted a video about a week ago or a couple days ago. I don't remember from when this comes out to when that happened. I don't know, but But yeah, so basically he did a little experiment, right, where he had these BGS graded cards. I believe they were all vintage cards. They were like base set, right?
I think so, yeah.
He sent them all in, and they were like 9s and 9.5s. So they were all good cards. I'm assuming cards that he pulled on his channel, right?
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, I think he lives like right down the street from BGS. He can literally walk them in, and I'm sure he's a welcomed client when he goes into those doors.
Oh, sure.
But he basically cracked a bunch of BGS cards and got them regraded. And lo and behold, I think 90% of the cards came back with a different grade. If that is not the biggest red flag, then that says do not grade your cards with any of these companies, then I don't know what is. And like the biggest problem like that really stuck out to me is like some things that could not change on a card changed, right?
Yeah.
Like, like for instance, centering on a couple of the cards were different. They went from a 9.5 to a 9.0. How did the centering get worse in a card? Like, I get it, right? He cracked the case. Maybe he damaged the corner of a card when he was cracking it. Maybe the surface got a little rub on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, who knows? But the freaking centering on a card cannot change by it being cracked out of a case. That is absolutely asinine.
No, so when I saw that, that was just like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
Dude, like, what's your thoughts on that totally? Like, what's your full thought on that? Like,
yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just the mood of the person that graded it. To me, that's, in my opinion, that's what it is. It's the mood of the grade the mood of the person that graded it that day. Maybe what time of day it got graded. You know, were those looked at? You know, the ones that got better grades were they looked at earlier in the day when the person was more fresh, or were they looked at the end of the day? You know.
Well, let me ask you this: what about narrative? Right? Who has what skin in the game? We don't know. What if they're told to lower grades, to have lower populations on the gym mints and lower populations in the 9.5s? Like, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really something that I thought about, but I mean,
so if you're a
when it
grading
comes down
company,
to it,
if you're a grading company and you want to have the most prestigious, expensive cards, how do you do that, right? You make it very, very, very rare to get that perfect card, right? And the perfect example of this is one BGS. That black label BGS is just like the end all be all for a Pokemon TCG card collector, right? Like, it trumps a PSA 10 all day long. Like,
easy.
A PSA 10 is fantastic, but a BGS black label is like the cherry
whole nother level
on top. You know what I mean? Because they're so hard to get, right? And if they have strict rules, right? If they have strict direction of you don't give black label 10s except once a day or twice a day. You're only allowed to give black label 10s out of the 1,000 cards that you grade today because we need them to be extraordinarily rare. And just as rare as that black label are the CGC 10s. CGC 10s are like almost unheard of, right? My buddy Omash does, he's a middleman service for grading, and he does tons of videos on it. Go check out Omash. But he sends in stuff, and it took him months before he got a CGC 10 after using their service for months. So you can't tell me that there's not a narrative there of
Right.
we need to make these 10s as little as possible, as rare as possible, so that way people want to get them. And that's one of the problems for me. Like, what are your thoughts?
No, I totally agree with you. You know, it comes down to the consistency, right? You know, what's a 10 today, what's a 10 tomorrow?
Yep.
And, you know, I was kind of hinting at it earlier on, and, you know, with the AI grading and that whole, you know, realm of grading that I think is coming here in the future, hopefully a lot more sooner, than it seems right now. But I think if we get into that world where it is all AI grading, we're going to be much better off. You're not going to see these inconsistencies. I mean, I guess there could be ways to somehow, you know, build a narrative into an algorithm, possibly. I mean, I'm not, you know, a computer science major or anything like that.
Absolutely could.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is that, but I mean, there's ways to, you know, have your algorithm out there as well, so we can, so you know, transparency. Yeah, you know, be more transparent about it. And I think if we can get to that point, things are going to be much better with grading. And I think we're getting into kind of a weird space with grading, and just watching a lot of grading videos and stuff here on YouTube. It's just so strange. It's so strange how, you know, people will get batches of cards back, all 10s in this box, and then, you know, this box, it was essentially like the same card that they sent in, and it's like, you know, all 8s and 9s, and it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy how inconsistent it is, and that's the biggest thing for me.
And I like what you said about transparency, because that's another one of the things about these grading companies is they're just not very transparent. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty easy to sit back and go, okay, this card is centered poorly or centered well. This card has a dent in the corner. There's a scratch on this card. This card has big print lines in it. Like, some stuff is very, very obvious and easy to see, but they don't, you know, strictly post the behind the scenes. Like, every once in a while, I think they let snippets and stuff out, but if you think those aren't, like, fully reviewed by every single manager that works there and frickin' board of directors that are like, oh yeah, cool, we can let this one out. Yeah, that looks great, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but when it's a business, you can't just take everything that people throw at you and just be like, oh, I totally trust these guys, you know? Totally fully and all that stuff. And one of the things that really kind of shined a light on it was the whole Logan Paul thing, and how they had that case certified, you know, and it's like, that was the perfect example of them, of a company being a company. They got paid, they got clout, right? They wanted their rap on that case, even though they had no clue what the hell they were doing. They did it anyway because they wanted that logo on that case that was going to be all over Logan Paul's social media, and it was a massive deal for them. And they got bit in the ass hard, because it ended. I mean, I'm surprised they're still in business. Like, in all reality, I think they probably need to close their doors, because if they got caught so basically red-handed like that, that is absolutely terrible. So
that was bad. I was cringing watching that, like, for the grading company. Like, how
he was
how
there
could
in
you?
the room.
I know, it was intense. Like, craziness. I honestly, I couldn't believe that they're still in business.
Being put in that position, man. You're sitting there in that room with Logan Paul and all these other people, like 3 or 4 other people, and they're filming it, and then they crack it, and it's bullshit, and then everybody just looks at him, and he's just like, we got duped, guys. We all got, like, bro, you're the freaking expert, right? You're the expert. How did you get duped, bro? Like, come on, man. That guy had to have been shitting bricks, though. Like, he probably.
Oh my god.
Oh, he had a heart attack, man. That would have been rough.
I would have if I was in that room doing that, and that was the outcome. My gosh, like, insane.
So yeah, I really like the algorithm, the AI grading system. There's already some out there like AGS and stuff like that, which, you know, I think it's really in the infancy state, and it's really in the beginning state. Yeah. So who knows what that is going to look like at the end of the day. I will say I've watched a lot of AGS's stuff, videos of how they do it, and because they show you, like, they have a freaking breakdown. They're like, it
Yeah.
goes in here, it goes through this program, it gets laser imaged here, and blah blah blah, and measured, and this, that, and the other thing. But one thing I would say about them too is they are very harsh, man.
Yeah.
I watched a video where Dr. Applesauce went to a convention, bought a fresh booster box, walked over to the AGS thing, got it graded, and it came back like an 8. I was like, that was pack fresh, dude. Like,
Yeah.
he just opened it out of a pack, walked it over there, and it came back like an 8. Like, yeah, Pokemon really needs to step up their game. Don't get me wrong. They've been really dropping the ball on this print quality hard. I think it was Fusion Strike. It was really, like, bad, but it's just like, it's another scenario right there where it's like, am I going to continually send in cards to get graded if they're going to come back as 8s and 8.5s? Right?
Yeah.
So now you got both sides of the coin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about it kind of too is like, I mean, one, is this kind of like, a new reality in grading? And two, like, are all these 9s and 10s that we're getting, and this is kind of what we're talking about really in this whole episode, like, are they really 9s and 10s? Or, is it like, I don't know. To me, like, I trust, I would trust. I haven't graded with AGS or any other. Thank you. I haven't, graded with AGS or any other company that uses like any sort of AI grading. But to me,
not either.
When you look at it on paper, on everything that's done when you send it to an AI company and everything that's done, when you send it to a normal company, like, my trust would go to the transparency that I can see with the AI company. I mean, I'm just looking at their website, and you kind of talked about it. Like, they break it down for you. Like, on their slab, on the back of their slab, they have like a QR code that you can scan, and it breaks everything down for you. More than just 9.5 on corners, 9.5 on surface. Yeah, that. And like, you can even see like the laser scan and everything of like where each and every little scratch that it found was and all that stuff. So I think that is super cool. And a company like that, that's the kind of company that I hope to see kind of succeed, because I would love to see this technology grow.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the most important thing is that every single card you go in goes through the exact same process.
Exact same.
And you don't have these different people looking at it and making these different assumptions on what happened and all these different things, for sure. So the consistency is very, very important as well. Now, the problem here with me is, how would... let's take PSA, for example, right? Because I do believe PSA has made mentions that they were potentially looking at artificial intelligence grading as well.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because it really is the future. I mean, it really is. You just can't be as consistent as a computer. Humans cannot. It's human element. It's human error. It's just fact.
Right.
But my problem now is, let's say PSA adopts AI grading, right? In a year or two, right? What are they going to do with all the current PSA graded cards? Are they going to have to create a new label? Are they going to have to create a little symbol on the label that's, basically shows this card is AI graded, and one that doesn't have the symbol is not AI graded? Are they going to have to change the label completely? Maybe they make it, instead of white and red, make it white and blue, to show the significance of AI graded versus personal grading. And what is that going to do to the prices, right? Are the AI graded cards going to hold a higher premium? Is the artificially intelligent PSA 10, going to be worth more than a standard PSA 10? Like, this is a whole, like, Pandora's box of stuff that could happen. Like, what do you think PSA should do or could do if they adopt AI grading to make the two different cards stand out? Because they're completely different cards.
Yeah, I like your idea of like really just changing the case that it comes in, right? Or just a little label. Honestly, I think that's probably the most cost-effective thing for them to do as well. As a business,
extra ink.
That's for sure. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what they're going to do. It would be kind of cool to see, a little bit of a difference on a, PSA graded card anyways. But, I really think that, if they, when they go down this route, because they are,
they have to.
They're going to.
You can't just keep telling people that this human error element is just something we have to deal with when we know that we have the technology to not have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, when they do go down this path, it's it is going to be it's going to be big for PSA one, big for the grading community and everything because
Oh yeah.
they're like the number one right now for the Pokemon community. So I think I really do think you are going to see a shift in the pricing for the cards, and I do think you are going to see AI graded cards priced higher. I'm already looking at some graded cards on eBay here, just the sold
Okay.
listings here. And I'm looking at, I pulled it up, PSA Charizard VMAX, just to make it nice Charizard to
Ooh.
take a look
Ooh.
at
I
here.
mean, if it's not Charizard, does it matter?
No, not really. Um, so I'm taking a look at the Charizard VMAXs here, and um, I pulled up AGS because, to be honest with you, they're one of the only AI grading
They're
companies I
the
know
most
of right
popular
now.
AI grading
They're the
company
most
right now.
popular.
They're the
Yeah.
biggest and most popular. They have a good financial backing, and they've
Mhm.
been out there a little bit more than some of the smaller AI companies.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at it here, the last one sold was a Shining Fate, so the shiny Charizard VMAX,
Yep.
sold on March 21st for 42 bids on it, $542.
AGS 10.
AGS 10, yep,
Okay.
$540.
Okay.
Um, PSA 10 on the same day, Gem Mint 10. One went for less than 400 because it's like struck out,
So
and
they
then
took a best offer. Okay.
yep, took a best offer, and then one was 425, and then I did a BGS 9.5, because a lot of people kind of consider that like a PSA 10.
They even put Gym Mint on their thing. That
Yeah,
frustrates the hell out of me.
true,
BGS
true.
Gym Mint 9.5. Bro, if it ain't a 10, it ain't Gym Mint. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's
Right,
either a 10
exactly.
or it ain't, bro. Don't give me this 9.5 crap. That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's for clowns.
Oh yeah, and I mean I'm looking at it here, 250.
Ooh.
200, yeah, 250 to about
See,
300 for
as
those.
an investor, right? One of those plays is you buy that BGS 9.5 at
Mhm.
$250 and you turn around and you send that sucker to PSA because PSA is going to slap a 10 on that thing, and all of a sudden your card goes from being worth $250 to $400, right?
Yeah,
Because you simply did the crossover grading, which is a service that PSA offers.
true.
And that's another thing that I think is absolutely freaking stupid. Is you have all these different grading companies, man. Like none
Yeah,
of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. You have it at least 20 different grading companies now that are
yeah.
trying to throw their hat in the ring. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like where do you get off, right? Like at least AGS is different. At least they
Yeah.
were like, hey, like I really think the AGS came in and they were kind of like, hey, this is kind of messed up. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna create an algorithm. We're gonna
Right?
computer grade it, and every card is gonna get treated the same because
Yeah.
they did not like the subjectiveness in the grading situation, right? And then you got all these other companies who are like, oh, PSA's back up. I'm going to start a grading company. Woo! I went on Amazon and bought me a little stamping machine and I put my little plastic thing right on it too. How about that? Let me go ahead and put my little stamp on there and it's going to be just like everybody. It's going to be like PSA, bro. I'll tell you what. I'm even going to grade them my darn
Uh,
self here in my room, right
it
next to
it
my
sounds
cat
like
who
you got
got my cat hair on it.
a lot of experience doing that.
Bro, I'm about to start it. I'm about to start it. It's what they might as well have done, man. Like, I'm sick of it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing, too. Like, everybody needs to get on the same page. A BGS 9.5, 9 should not grade as a PSA 10. A PSA 10 should not be able to grade as a CGC 9. It's either a perfect freaking card or it's not. It's one or the other,
Yeah.
guys. It's one or the other. It's either a perfect card or it's not a perfect card. You make up your mind. But this mixing it up and throwing it around and drop a locking, twerking, it ain't working. I just rhymed. I didn't even mean to do
That
that.
was good. I liked it. I
That
liked
was
it.
spicy after my little country boy rant. I don't know where these voices are coming from, but anyway,
It's good. I like it.
I don't know, man. I'm just sick of it so much because the other thing too is that most of the grading community is purely in the hobby for profits, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I run a Pokemon business. I do box breaks. I have a website. We're sealed. I have a resale license. I have an EIN. I file my taxes every single quarter. I have a distributor. Like I do the whole nine. I want to make Pokemon my full-time job and I want to make a living off of it, which means I need to make a profit, right?
Yep.
But one thing that I don't like doing, one game I don't like playing, even though it's proven to be profitable year after year, is buying, selling, and flipping graded cards, because I think it's a joke, right? I really do. I really do. And if I want to take advantage of the casual audience, the casual collector, I might as well do that, because that's all that's happening. The perfect example is what I just said before. Buying that BGS 9.5 at $250, sending out the PSA, getting a 10 on it, putting it back on eBay, and selling it for $400 after buying it for $250. Oh, that's a hustle. That's a grind. That's a business move. Cool, whatever. Do I freaking care? I don't know, man. Like, it's really stupid. But that's what grading has become.
Yeah.
In my opinion, as a true collector of Pokemon cards, I don't for one instance see the reason why I would need to get my card graded unless I was going to sell it. That's it. Yep. I can look at my card myself. I can tell you if the centering's good or not. Yeah. I can tell you if there's a crease in it or not. I don't need to send it out to somebody to be like, hey guys, there's a crease right down the middle of your card. Oh gosh, I just didn't see that. You know?
Right.
And the same thing with authenticity, right? Like, one of the big things too that people talk about is, oh, it also authenticates the card, bruh. Like, how the hell do you look at a Pokemon card and not know if it's fake or not unless you're not used to it, right? So, true. The biggest thing that I would say is just educate yourself. Do your own research. Do your own education. Guess what? That is free. You know what's not free? Sending your card out to get graded.
Right.
You know, like, don't get me wrong. I like the cases. The cases are pretty cool. Hey, but you can get those fancy little magnetic cases over at freaking Target right now for like $2.50, and they look great. And they keep your card super freaking safe, guys. I'll tell you what. And it's not any worse off. The only thing is, I guess it's not watertight, right? You can drop a PSA card in the water and it would be fine. Don't go to the water park, I guess. I don't know. Don't bring your first edition Charizard to Wet and Wild over in Orlando.
Hey.
How about you don't? You know? Just my thoughts on that. But there's ways to protect yourself. There's way to authenticate your own card. There's ways that you can look at your card and, I mean, I could put a damn PSA 10 stamp on anything I want. Does it make it legitimate? So, like, let me ask you that. Like, I'm actually going to ask you that, right? As somebody who's been heavily involved in the Pokemon TCG for the past 3 years, right? Yeah, some people might go, well, that's not very long. You're just one of those new collectors. You just followed the hype train. Bro, get out my face. For 3 years, before the hype train, by the way, we got back into it. Nice. Like, would you trust me to look at your card and go, yeah, this is a Gem Mint 10, this is a 9. Yeah, this is a real card. Would you trust me to do that for you? And if the answer is yes, that's fine. If the answer is no, that's fine as well. I want your honest thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I would say I trust you just based on the amount of content I've seen you put out on Pokemon, the types of content that I've seen you put out on it as well. You know, you're not just opening cards or, you know, something like that. You're very knowledgeable, you seem. So, yeah, I would trust you.
Okay. What about somebody that got into the hobby about a month ago?
I would say no. I don't trust them. I mean, they very well could look at a card and say, yeah, it looks great. It's, you know, it's perfect. I don't see anything on it. But I would feel like maybe they don't have all of the knowledge, you know, the backing knowledge that you need about grading and about cards and have seen trends and everything like that to really fully trust them, you know?
Right. So how often do you think PSA or BGS lets people grade cards that they just hired a month ago?
All day, every day, because they're about way behind. Yeah.
No, like, very that's what I'm point. Saying. Like, how long is their training process before they put people on the floor to start grading cards? What if it's somebody who's never even seen a freaking Pokemon card in their life before? Which is actually probably the better.
Like that.
It's probably the better scenario, honestly, right? Because what if it's somebody who's invested?
Yeah.
What if somebody like you goes and works for PSA and you have 4 Gem Mint 10 base set PSA 10 cards, right? You got 10 Gem Mint base set Charizard cards. I don't know what I said. My English was off there. But you got 10 Gem Mint 10 Charizard base set cards, okay? And you know that every time that population report comes out and there's more Gem Mint 10 cards out there, your card probably comes down in price a little bit because now there's more, right?
Yeah.
Would you not like be like, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9?
Yeah, I mean,
because you're invested, right? So you are literally invested
bit of a bias
in
there.
that card. There's going to be bias. There's going to be that aspect of it, you know? Like, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I can't say anything otherwise. I mean, yeah, if I had those Charizards and I knew if that number, you know, the higher and higher that number went, the lower and lower mine went, like, I would feel less inclined to give 10s, 100%.
I wonder, like, I mean, I'm sure we could do the research. I haven't done the research on it, but, like, who thought of this? Like, who thought to create a company and be like, you know what? I'm going to take cards, I'm going to authenticate them, and I'm going to tell people what kind of condition that they're in, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know I used to have I was a big sports card collector back in the day, and Beckett Price Guide was, like, the number one price guide that you went to for your basketball cards, your football, and, you know, every month there was a new Beckett price guide out, and you had to find it. You went to Walmart and they had it in the magazine section, and you hunted that sucker down because you needed to know what your new, you know, 1998 Stadium Club Michael Jordan was worth. You know, you just had to. But like, it just even back then, like, where did they get their information from? Like, did they get their did they pull auction listings? Like, this was pre-eBay, you know?
Right? Yeah, I was gonna say when you said you had to get the magazine to find the prices, I was gonna say, oh, like. That sounds like pre-internet or like dial-up internet days.
That's what, like, this is pre-eBay. This is pre-TCG player, obviously, right? It's like, where did they get their information from? Did they just like poll people? Like, hey, what do you think this card would be worth?
Take a look at this right here. You know, give me a price. Give me a price.
Like, were they like going around? Were they like sending questionnaires to like hobby stores? Like, what was going on? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would say probably you to take a look at like the local auctions as well as talking to like local stores and anybody that'd be willing to, you know, give their sales data up like that. You know, they I would assume they probably went that way, but yeah, it's interesting to think about kind of pre-internet how did they get all that together.
What are your thoughts
for a whole magazine?
What are your thoughts on all these small companies that are coming up? Do you think they're a flash in the pan? Do you think that you know, they have staying power? Do you think getting your cards graded by these really, really, you know, small grading companies that are, you know, maybe doing a couple hundred cards a day, like, do you think it's worth it? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I really don't think it is worth it, to be honest. You know, it kind of sucks to say that. I, you know, don't want to talk bad about companies by any means.
I wish them all the best of luck. I really do.
Yeah, of course, you know? Of course. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these companies are really just a Band-Aid on the problem that eventually is going to fall off, you know, just over time. If that's kind of very weird metaphor, but that's, you know,
this Band-Aid's going to fall off. And you know what?
That's kind of how I feel about it. You know,
some kid's going to leave it on
they're going to just kind of, they're just going to kind of go away. You know, I think over time, you know, PSA is going to get back on track with things. They're going to get into AI. I'm sure Beckett's probably going to do something as well. You know, AGS might come up. They might fall away too. But you know, they kind of got this whole AI grading thing started, and you know, I don't think a lot of the smaller companies are going to be able to hold, you know, on that, especially the really, really, really new ones. You know, ones that have been around maybe, you know, since before the boom happened with Pokemon and just collecting in general. I would say they probably have a, you know, an extra arm in the race or whatever. I don't know why I'm trying to use all these different sayings and stuff tonight.
What's going on with your metaphors tonight, bro?
I don't know.
Your analogy metaphor game is like terrible right now, bro.
It is not flowing.
There was this really, you know, this dirty Band-Aid from this kid just sitting there on this watered down Kool-Aid.
Forgive me.
It was, you know, and
I
then
hope
the
somebody
cactus had the aloe vera.
I hope somebody out there
was
like, yeah. You know, I understand that Band-Aid reference. That, you know, that really stuck with me.
It really sparked somebody. They were just like, "Oh shit, I get this. I get that analogy.
Really connect with it now." I hope somebody out there, and if it was you out there, that really connected. Thank you. But yeah, you know, when it comes down to it, I don't think they're really going to be sticking around. I think, in 10 years, 20 years, we're probably going to be really looking at the same big three, that we're looking at here now with,
Yeah.
probably a fourth and fifth company that have kind of risen up and, filled in
Yeah.
where some of the gaps are.
Yeah. What do you think about one of the biggest scams that I think too that I want people to watch out for is these PSA, not PSA, excuse me. I don't want to attach PSA's name to this. These graded card mystery bags, right? Have you seen these online and on eBay and
Everywhere.
where literally they sell you, it's like $30,
Garbage.
$40, and they for one mystery, excuse me, I was about to burp. One mystery graded slab, right? And like I hate the term slab too. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Slab
Yeah,
me, bruh. But and like every single time I see somebody on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram open these dang things, it's like a random grading company that I've never even heard of that gave this freaking common Aeron right here that I'm holding up a 7, right? And it's just like, wow, it's, one in 1,000 gets the base set Charizard, and it's just like,
Yeah.
like, dude, please, guys, don't fall for those scams.
Oh my gosh, no.
Don't fall for those scams. They're all over eBay. They're all over Mercari. They're all over these different websites. And just, if I were to tell you that there's one product that you should never, ever, ever buy, it's a mystery slab bag. Just don't do it. And even on the Whatnot app, I like the Whatnot app. It's fun. It's jivey. It's whatever, go spend some money there. It's cool. I got a lot of friends that stream on Whatnot pretty consistently. But like there's even people who do live streams on Whatnot and they do like this mystery slab thing. And I'll tell you what, man, I know this for a fact. They line up the back row with these very nice graded cards, right? Gem Mint 10 Shiny Charizard VMAX. PSA 9 base set Blastoise holographic. They line the background of these beautiful, expensive PSA cards, and then they fill their little mystery bags with trash. Trash. You're getting a freaking Glaceon V PSA 9 that might be worth $16 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they're charging you $35, $40 to buy the darn thing. Graded cards aren't a premium, guys. They're really, really not. Again, it should strictly be for investors and sellers on very, very high-end cards, in my opinion. I just can't get around it otherwise. Don't fall for that scam. Have you seen those out there?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. They're all over. I mean, if you're considering buying one, don't. Like you said, absolutely do not. Go to YouTube. Go to any social media. I'm sure you can find somebody
Just
opening
watch it,
one.
man.
I know it's all over YouTube. Like, please just watch. You'll see it is absolutely not worth it. Every so once in a while, I see somebody pull out a PSA slab, but then it's like, like you said, like it's like a reverse Aeron. Like,
yeah, ridiculous.
9. It's like, come on. Like,
it's like when you buy those mystery packs and they say there's a foil inside, and it's always like a reverse common.
It's always a reverse common. Like, you're never gonna get anything better. Like, those, don't buy those either, please. Those are at Walgreens. Those are at Walmart's, Targets. Like, don't buy those mystery
scams,
packs.
right?
Oh, it 100% every single time. Like, yeah, it's just those get me fired up a little bit because it really is. It's a huge scam. I understand, when it comes down to it, you got to make money, but those feel like way more of a scam than like other ways they could go about making money off of those slabs. They're just, it's a way to get rid of garbage.
Well, and that's what it is. And those are the sellers that really give a bad name to certain things. I really wish that places like eBay and TCG, well, I guess TCG Player doesn't have this, but just places like eBay and Mercari and, even the Whatnot app would really just see these ridiculous ass things that are happening, specifically with graded cards. And it's just so unfortunate that like casual collectors fall for this sort of thing. And, there's been so many cases of people losing money because they think they're getting, PSA graded cards, so they think it's the nicest thing in the world, or a graded 10 card of some no-name random ass grading company that nobody's ever heard of. So they're like, ooh, this is really, really cool. I got a Gem Mint 10, and they have no clue. And it's just, there's so much crap going out there. Don't fall for it, guys. Just don't. Have you seen, and I want to talk about this with you too, the perfect example that we've, kind of what we've been talking about. So you saw that Logan Paul wore his PSA 10 Illustrator Pikachu to WrestleMania.
Of course. Right? Guinness World Record.
Who hasn't seen it? Did you know that supposedly, I've seen reports on this, that card went to PSA like 4 or 5 different times until it came back a PSA 10?
I'm sure. When you got the money to do it, why not send it 4 or 5 times until you got it to the right grader?
Before he got it. Before Logan Paul got it.
Oh, I see.
Like, people, they keep sending these Grail cards in over and over and over again until it comes back a 10. So then it just begs the question, like, is that card really a 10? Like, if that Pikachu Illustrator had to be sent in 4 or 5 times before it came back a 10, is it really a 10? And is it really worth what Logan Paul paid for it? Should he have just bought a 9 and then did his own resending over and over again until it came back at 10? Would have saved him money,
Hey, that's an idea for him right there.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that it was sent in that many times. But again, I mean, it's just not surprising. It finally got to somebody that looked at it and was like, hey, I think I'll give this a 10 today. And there you go.
It could have been the same guy that gave it a 9 last time for all we know.
It could have been. I wonder too, do these grading companies know how many times these cards have been graded as well?
I mean, think about it, right? So let's take a look at this Aeron, for example, right? If I sent this Aeron and there's no serial number on this card,
right?
There's no serial number. There's no way to tell that if this exact card has been to PSA 1, 2, or 3 times. You might be able to tell with a Pikachu Illustrator. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like
something that rare.
There's only so many of those,
Yeah, right.
But if it is sent in by a different person with a different name every single time, you can kind of is it the same card? Is it not the same card? How can we tell? I don't know. Yeah. And that can go for any Pokemon card, really.
True.
So.
But yeah, that's crazy though. I mean, that just goes to show there's no consistency. Absolutely none.
Yeah. It's a money game. Grading cards is a money game. It's not for the collector. It's for the investor. It's for the seller. It's for the businessman. Business people in Pokemon don't buy graded cards. They buy raw cards and get them graded. Or they buy 9s and try to make them 10s. They buy 8s and try to make them 9s. It's a game. Grading cards is a game. Don't let these people fool you into thinking that your card is worth more because it has a grade on it. Guess what? If that is true, sure. But I know how to keep condition of my cards, and it ain't going to change. If it's a 10 today, it's going to be 10 in a month because I know how to care for my cards. So research your cards, research how to take care of your cards, and take care of your cards, right? Get yourself some penny sleeves with some card saver ones, and nothing will happen to your card. Nothing will happen to your card. Get yourself some perfect fit sleeves and a magnetic case. Nothing's going to happen to your card. Even if you use top loaders, bro, get yourself a penny sleeve, a perfect fit sleeve, and a top loader, and triple sleeve your card, and just put it in a freaking ETB. I don't know if you guys know this, but ETB containers perfectly hold top-loaded cards. They're vertical. They're sitting there. They're not moving around. Nothing's going to happen to it. If it's a $300 card, I guarantee you your card is just as safe inside of a closed ETB in a top loader with a penny sleeve that just sits on your shelf in a dark, cold area. Nothing's going to happen to it. Keep it room temperature. Don't keep your cards in the garage. Don't keep them in a shed or in an attic because they're going to get sunwear. They're going to, not sunwear, but humidity. The humidity is going to get to it and it's going to ruin the card. Don't keep your cards in binders, especially 3. I mean, you can keep them in binders. Don't keep them in 3 ring binders because that first row of cards is, if it's an extended period of time, is going to get a crease in it, right? So the 3 pockets that are closest to the 3 ring binder are likely going to get creases in them. D-ring binders are a lot safer because they have that flat edge. They're probably not going to damage your card. Dragon Shield makes a fantastic slipcase binder where it has this little black thing that you hook into it as well that keeps them solid and it keeps them there. And then once again, it's held vertically because you don't want your cards on their sides or on their, back where they're being smushed between, like all these other things can happen too. But just do your research on how to protect your cards, and I guarantee you'll be able to preserve your card just as well as it being inside of a PSA case, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's any of my big hits. I either got them in the plastic cases back there, or I got them in this, like you were just saying, in the Burning Shadows ETV. I got top loaders. I got
perfect fit right in there.
Exactly, they fit perfectly. So yeah, 100%. That's how I keep my all my big hits safe.
Yeah, it's really nice, and you can get all kinds of containers too. Like I got this container here. I'll just show it on the camera real quick. This container right here, I think I got this from like TJ Maxx or something like that.
Nice.
And again, it's a very good height, fits top loaders perfectly. So you can see the reflection. Nice. Fits my sleeves perfectly right there, and I actually use it for my box breaks. This is where all my sleeves go. I just grab them right out. It's open. It's whatever. It's so easy. I think it was $6, and it'll hold.
There you go.
It'll easily hold probably 150 top loaded cards.
Oh, that's nice. There you go.
It's amazing.
$6. That's not bad at all. And you got that protection for $6.
So many ways to do it. And if you guys want, shameless plug, if you guys want some Dragon Shield sleeves, in the description below, guys, you can get an affiliate link right down there where you can get the best sleeves on the market. Dragon Shield sleeves are phenomenal. They got matte sleeves. They got perfect fit. They got sealable perfect fit sleeves, which, talking about protection, sealable perfect fit sleeves. They are absolutely amazing.
Oh,
no
those
dust,
are cool.
No grime, nothing, right? You put it in a sealable perfect fit. You put it in one of these matte matte sleeves. You put it in a top loader. You are gravy. Nothing is ever going to happen to that card. I guarantee you. Don't spend $100 to put it in an encapsulation, especially if it's only worth like $20 raw. It's just not worth it. It's just not.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, good to know. That's how. I mean, how do you feel about binders?
I have kind of changed how I feel about them. I mean, as you can see, I don't have the best binder behavior over here. I do have them laying on their sides, but
how dare you?
I don't keep any of my really big hits in there.
Yeah.
That's really just the commons, uncommons, a lot of like just the regular
Sets,
Vs and stuff like that.
Set completion is kind of
exactly. But that box that I just showed you guys, I mean, that's where all the big stuff is. So I mean, I think binders are great. They're a great way to keep your cards. They're a lot better than just keeping them in a stack on your desk or something like that. Yep. It does offer another level of protection. The ones I have are the side loading pockets, and I really like those.
Preferred.
Very much preferred, because then if it happened to hold it upside down or something, you're not having cards fly out of your binder into the puddle right next to you or something. So, and you can get those I get mine at Target for like $12 or something.
I would recommend getting the ones from Amazon, the zipper ones, because
I have one of those too.
Yeah, the zipper. I think it's Card Guardian. I love the Card Guardian ones. There's another brand too, something Portfolio. But the card
Z-Folio LX.
Z-Folio. Yep, Z-Folio is good. Card Guardian is good. The zippers really help. The side loading is good, and a lot of people don't know why the side loading is good. The side loading is good because when you put a card in a sleeve, right? Preferably, what you want to do is you want to use the perfect fit sleeves with the binders, right? Because they're just smaller. So like when you use a standard like Pokemon ETB sleeve or something, and you put one in the front and one on the back, it gets really thick.
Yeah,
it still is fine, but sometimes they're kind of hard to get in and get out. The perfect fits are significantly smaller, and they just they slide right in very easily.
Slip right in there.
But the whole point is that the opening for the perfect fits most of the time is on the top, right, or the bottom, depending on how you like to use it. I know a lot of people like to put the perfect fit on upside down, but if you have a side loading sleeve, that's even another way to protect it to where you don't have the opening on both slots, right? So normally you put a card in a penny sleeve, you put it in a top loader, that the top of that card is still open to where if you turn the top loader upside down and you shake it a little bit, it could still fall out. The card itself could completely fall out, fully unprotected.
Yeah.
And the side loading pages are cool because, like you said, they're not going to fall out of the top. And then even if it did kind of scooch over or something got in, like dust or, like just like, I don't know, a hair or something like that could potentially cause damage to the card. Yeah. It's not going to, because the opening for the card is on top of the perfect fit. Yeah. So they're not lined up, you see, like something can get in the side and then it still won't do nothing to the card because it's sleeved from that angle,
Exactly. So, yeah. And I've had that issue before with older binders. When I first got back into it, I didn't know anything about, real protection, with your cards and everything like that. Too. So I did just go out and buy a regular old binder, circle rings, just some cheap, top loading pages and stuff like that. And I realized quick that was a mistake.
Dude, sure. I fully support side-loaded 9-pocket page zip case binders. I would spend $25 for one of those before I bought a $3 3-ring binder and Ultra Pro, top load pages. I hate the Ultra Pro top load 9-page pockets. Ultra Pro makes a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong. They make a lot of really good stuff. But if you're looking for straight protection or anything like that, the side loading, black material zipper pocket pages, 1,000% better, 10,000% better than getting those 3-ring binders with the Ultra Pro. You snap it, you put it in the 3-hold ones, and you snap it back on. Just don't do that, guys. That's what I did when I was a kid, and it's just not worth it. The protection is just not there, full on. So, but yeah, guys, that's it. We kind of finished off talking about how to protect your cards a little bit, which I think was a nice little segue, because I truly, honestly don't believe that grading your card is necessary unless you're going to sell it. The only time I would ever recommend selling a card is if you have a high-end card, like let's say the Umbreon Alternate Art VMAX, and you think it's going to be a 10. Nothing is more frustrating than when you look at a card and somebody sees, you can tell it's not centered, and you send it anyway. Why would you do that? Because guess what? Most of the time, a PSA 9 is worth about the same as your card raw near mint condition. It really is. And that's not even mentioning the 8s. If it gets anything less than an 8, if it comes back like a 7, you've effectively lost money on your card now,
Yeah. Yeah, so exactly.
It has to be a PSA 10. It has to be a high-end chase card, and you've got to be wanting to sell it as soon as it comes back. Those are the reasons why you get your card graded. Don't worry about grading cards for your own personal collection. I just don't think it's worth it. Again, unless you plan on selling the cards. What do you think? What's your finishing line here?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Don't grade your cards. If you're thinking about grading a card that honestly really isn't worth grading, I would just look for it on eBay already graded and buy it like that. Don't go through the process of grading something like that yourself. Do your research on grading and card protection as well, because it'll save you a lot of money in the end.
Now, guys, this is just our opinions. Do whatever you want. If you're a grading card supporter, if you're a PSA supporter, BGS supporter, all the power to you. All the power to you. Fantastic, great, I love it. It's just not for me. I don't think it's there, and unless they change a couple of things, I really don't know. Without influencers and stuff like that, and without business people telling you what it is, how well and how long it's gonna. I don't know. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. So
I'm right there with you.
But that's it, guys. That's our episode. I think we ended off on a pretty decent note there with some nice card protection conversation, because there's definitely plenty of ways to protect your cards for sure. Come on, guys. Every single Friday, man, here on the TCG Funhouse YouTube channel, box break time, guys. Box break. I got Eevee Heroes, one of the most popular Japanese sets of all time. I got the 2 brand newest sets available right now. Time Gazer and Space Juggler are up on the site. So if you want some of that preview of what we have coming in Astral Radiance. Make sure you guys check that out. Of course, the typical Brilliant Stars, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, all that stuff, guys. Over 15 different pack options available. The most diverse live stream Pokemon TCG box break out there right now. Every single Friday, guys. So smash that subscribe button and hit a like. It really, really helps the channel out. And come hang out with us on Friday. Plus, we always do a giveaway every single night, every single stream night we do. We have a giveaway, so you could win some Pokemon TCG cards as well. But yeah, man, ASX, what is, one last thing that you would like to tell the peeps here?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate your box breaks. I mean, I have fun every single Friday coming and hanging out in the chat with everybody.
Dude, it was a ball last time, bro.
It was awesome.
It was
absolutely
so much
awesome.
Fun, man.
The chat was going off the whole entire time. So if you guys want to have a good time on a Friday night, buy into some Pokemon packs too. Like you said, there's 15, 16 different kinds. It's so awesome seeing so many different types of sets opened up as well. Brand new sets, a little bit older sets that we haven't seen in a long time. So come hang out with us. It's definitely a great time.
It's so much fun, man. We get big hits. I ship out in 2 days. The box breaks
really
breaks
big
are on
hits
Friday night. And I ship out Monday, bro. Like, as soon as that post office is going again, they go out Monday. People get their cards safe and secure. I've never held a card from anybody. We had the Umbreon VMAX go out, alternate art. We had the Rayquaza alternate art go out. We've had some big, massive hits. We had some awesome Cosmic Eclipse hits. It's been really, really fun, man. So, yeah, it's a great time, for sure. Come hang out with us. And I don't care what anybody says. We got the best Pokemon TCG community anywhere. Twitch, YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. Discord. It doesn't matter. We have the best Pokemon TCG community, so come be a part of it, guys. We hope to see you there. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night.